Hello everyone. Didn't get to make a video yesterday. Do a quick one today. Yesterday I think I made two trades on Apple, both for small wins. That was the only trades I made yesterday. Today I made three trades, one winner, two losers, and oddly enough, I traded Apple today, and that was my only winner, and that just happened to be an accident. Um, if you if you're familiar with Thinkorswim, let me just put something on here to change it from Apple. Okay, so we have Disney up here. When you go to trade to pull up Apple, when you go to pull up an options chart so you can have your active trader up, Thinkorswim does this a lot, and I don't know why. But you right click, come down here, TOS charts, hit this, and it comes over here. But a lot of times this doesn't change. It'll bring it up and you'll think it changed, but it'll still show Disney or whatever the last one was that you had up. Well, that happened to me earlier. It happens more times than it doesn't. I'd say it probably happens 60 to 70% of the time. I was trying to hurry up and get in the trade today. I was trying to buy Boeing calls. I assumed that this changed to Boeing. I came over, I clicked it, I bought it. About probably 5 minutes later, I realized I bought Apple instead of Boeing. But it actually worked out for me. I bought Apple at $9.49 and sold it at $10.14. So I bought it at $9.49. $9.49 would have been just after this candle opened. Didn't know, I wasn't meaning to buy it. I sold it at $10.14. So I sold it right at almost the end of this candle, almost the close of this candle. In hindsight, I should have held on to it. I was following somebody else on the Boeing trade, and I wanted to hurry up and get in that trade and manage it. I should have skipped the Boeing trade and stuck with this, but I got in the Boeing trade also, and I couldn't really manage both of them. So I got out of the Apple trade, and the Boeing trade just didn't work out. Let's take a look at the Boeing chart. I meant to get in it at $9.49, obviously, because that's when I got in Apple. If I would have got in at $9.49, let me pull this, get this out of here so we can see better. If I wanted to get in at $9.49, my entry probably wouldn't have been much better. It would have been right after the open of this candle. Instead, I got in at $9.56, which really wasn't any better. Pretty much the high of day, and it went down from there. I stopped out, took a small loss. Then I got in Disney a little bit later, and pretty much the same thing. I pretty much got in. I followed somebody else on that one. Pretty much got in at the high of day. I think it was over here. Got in Disney at 10:17. So would have been just about here, just after this candle opened, just before this candle closed. So another one I got in pretty much high of day on calls. Didn't work out. Yesterday, I believe I made two Apple trades. Both of those were profitable. I don't remember what times I got in and got out. They were small wins. Take a look at the SPY chart here. I'm trying to go over this quick, trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter. What I've been doing is putting my own support and resistance levels on my charts every morning. I start out looking at the daily chart. I put today's close now, but what would have been the previous day's close. I also put 293.24 was from way back here. 24 was a high of this candle, and I have another one up here at 94. It's actually showing 90. It looks like it should be 94. And then I come back. I put one at this high here because this was a pivot. I have one at this low here, and what I do is I erase these pretty much every morning and start over. We have a low pivot here. So I put in, they look all pretty much scrunched together right now, but that's because there's on a daily chart, and there's $7 range, $8 range from here to here, so that's why there's so many. I have one at a pivot here. I have one at the low of this, which would be a pivot. I probably should have one here, but I don't. And then I do that on the daily, and then I come over to the hourly, and I do the same thing. The hourly, I take, we had a low here. Go back in a little bit. Have a low here, so I put one there. Let's see. It's hard to do when they're all here. It'd be easier if I erased them and started over. If I deleted these and started over. So it's hard to try to go back and figure out why I put it where. Here's one because of this high. So you see what I'm getting at. I do the daily, then I do hourly, and then I come into the 5-minute chart. I do the same thing on the 5-minute chart. Come in and look. I put one here just because there was a lot of support right in this area, so I put one here. I put one here because it was the high pre-market high this morning. This was actually this morning, so pre-market high, I put one there. So you see what I'm getting at with that, why I put them all there. I also have my standard pivot points up. And that's pretty much what I use throughout the day. And you see it looked pretty rudimentary what I did, but if you look at the levels, they're actually pretty accurate. You see I have this one here. Look how many times, 4 candles in a row, we came up and hit this. Let me do this. 4 candles in a row, we came up and hit this one here. This candle we came down, this candle came up and closed at it, and this candle opened at it. So this was a pretty important level here at 291.43. Had another one here at 290.86. You see right here, it worked as support. Resistance for this candle and support for 3 candles after that. Let me go back in so we see any other ones. This one here was kind of resistance for this candle. Support for 3 candles here. So it might look kind of genericish, if that's a word, genericish the way that I did it, but you see they actually work. They're actually pretty accurate, and they're not to the penny. There might be a heavy support at let's say 291.07 and another one at 291.12. I'm not going to put 2 lines there. I just put it right kind of in between them and know that it's real close to that. So that's what I've been doing. I use the pivot points too, but I'm going on my own, kind of using my own. Like I said, this one here was pre-market, and you see it offered support and resistance here. This one here, I forget when this one was, what this is from, why it's there, but you see it was resistance here, support over here. So I've been doing that, and then when I get into a trade, we do it real quick on Apple. Actually, it looks like I already have it up on Apple. Let's do another one. Let's do Alibaba. Let me move this over. So let's do daily chart on Alibaba. I would come in. This is really, I don't like this daily chart. There's too many gaps. Let's find something. Let's try like Disney. You can do it on Alibaba, but it's going to be a little bit harder because there's so many gaps. It's not smooth. This one's not real great either with that big gap here. But, you know, we're not, the reason I say that is because we're not going to have much up here. We're only going to have a couple different lines to put in. Let's do it anyway. So we come here. We'll obviously look at the low of this. We'll put one there. This is the daily chart. We'll put one at the highs. And then we'll go to the hourly chart. Go out a little bit. We had some support right around this level. And go right about here. Yeah, see, this one's not going to be very good because there was like nothing in during the day here. You know what I mean? I mean, I can put one here for this day. But that's not. Yeah, it's just not a good chart to do this on. It's hard to mark this one off. I would come in here. I'd look at pre-market highs, which would be right here. Pre-market lows. I'm not going to put another one in, but because pre-market lows would be real close to this one, so I'm not going to put another one in for that. But yeah, you see, I mean, it really didn't respect this line. It respected this 200 more than it did anything else. Let's find a different chart. Let's take a look at Caterpillar. That should be a pretty smooth chart. Let's look at the daily. Obviously the daily, you'd want one here because of this. I'd put another one here because you have a double top here and here. I'm not going to go all the way down here because there's nothing down in this level anyway. I'd put another one probably right here because of this, as well as here. So put one about here. Now let's go out to the hourly chart. Take a look at the hourly. Go with, this is today, so we don't know this is here. Let's scroll over a little bit because we don't know that that's even there. Hourly, I'd have one down here. This one, yeah, there's a high here, but it's close enough to this. That's about at 43, and this one's at 61. We'll put one anyway. Then when you see a lot of consolidation right here, that would be a good place for one, but it's pretty close to this one, so I'll leave that one go for now. So that's the hourly. Now let's look at the 5-minute. And you remember, we can't see today. I need to do 5-minute 20-day because I need to be able to scroll over, so we can't see today. Alright, 5-minute. I'd probably put one here because of yesterday's lows. A lot of consolidation right in here, so I'd probably put one right here. Well, we got one here, so we probably don't need one up here. You know what, I'm going to put one right here because of these levels here that it kind of held a couple times, and it's near the top of the channel from this day. I put one up here for this high, back here. That's probably about it. So let's go ahead and look at today and see what we saw. See if it respected any of those lines. You see it did respect this line, and you remember we didn't see any of this when I put these up. I had this pulled over, so we didn't see any of this. So none of today's activity should show anything from, you know, none of these lines have anything to do with today's activity. But you see it respected that line, even better than it respected that pivot point. It respected this line. It came up. That was pretty much the high of day, was this line here, which was See, I don't know if that was from it was probably from this line right here. 144.84. No, it wouldn't have been from that one. I don't know what it's from. This could be from a daily or an hourly. It doesn't matter either way, really. So it respected that line. Right here, it kind of respected this as resistance, and then it kind of consolidated right around these two lines right here today. So these lines seem to be pretty accurate, pretty good. I've been doing that for about, I don't know, maybe about a week now. I put my own lines up. I had been just using strictly pivot points, but I started to put my own lines up, and I see that they seem to be a little bit more accurate. So I do that every morning, and pre-market high, pre-market low, and anything that you see, like I said, you go back 5-minute chart, go back and you see anything that looks like it might be significant. You know, lows here, consolidation right here, high here, and just put some lines up. Put your lines up, and then you have that to go on throughout the day, and they're usually fairly accurate. SPY. Let's go back. Now we won't have all these lines from yesterday won't match up because we have lines that were formed because of today's activity on here, or yesterday's activity that we wouldn't have saw before yesterday opened. You see it respected this line, respected this line. A lot of resistance right here. Just barely broke above it here, but over here it held it. Right here on the pullbacks it held. So right here on this pullback it held. So yeah, it's definitely something that you might want to start using. Practice with it and see how it works out throughout the day. It's not a science. It's probably more of an art. My lines aren't going to be the same as yours. Yours aren't going to be the same as somebody else's. But they're going to be close to each other. Everybody's going to have lines that are fairly close. And you might not come down exactly to touch it. This was low was 89.07. This is at 89.06. So it's off a penny. It's actually closer than I thought it would be. Just like here, it's not exact. It didn't quite come up to here, but it's close, and you get the idea. You know where you're probably going to see some kind of selling coming up from here. So anyway, that's it. What I've been working on is trying to do. I showed you, I think, in my last video that I'm trying to work on some stuff that I kind of worked on before. You see we came down, and this kind of like a bear flag came down here, and it was kind of flat here. Once it broke below the lows of this base, that's when it drops. Like, kind of been working on that. Didn't really see any of that today. This would have been one here, except for it went up instead of down. Now if it would have came here and formed this base, and this candle would have came down below that base, then that would have been an entry for a put. Didn't really see that today. But that's kind of what I've been looking for. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and try to get one up again tomorrow, and hopefully we have some winners to show. And I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.